Hello, everybody. Today I wanted to make a kind of quick statement on history and health and all those kind of things. I view essentially that healthcare, as we know it, is primarily concerned with the person in crisis now, and I view that self care is concerned with the inherited crises from past generations. Now, I've often listened to different philosophers and thinkers of their time, and they generally always proclaim that if we follow this path, this will be the outcome. And primarily so, they were quite accurate, and their statements were very true. And it seems that they linked into a pattern. And it was pretty much saying if we remain ignorant of this situation we're in, and we don't pay attention to the cost of it, then the end outcome will be that. And it seems that we have kind of hit a collective calamity of these things. Many of the warnings that we've received from past thinkers are now coming to fruition. We see the challenges everywhere. Another interesting thing to kind of pay note of, if you're thinking that, this is not true, is social media at its very beginning was never seen to be so powerful of a thing. In fact, it was quite innocent. But what they stumbled upon, unbeknownst to them, was a primary, let's say, collective repression, meaning that over generations we have overlooked this one key element. And in fact, social media was the kind of starting point, let's say, of showing us that this element is actually important. And this essentially is the idea of the repression of the creative side of ourselves as humans, as well as the repression of being important or seen or heard. Now, as you can imagine, social media makes that very possible for lots of people. However, like I said before, it was just the start off point. Because we've released such a large expression of repressed energy, let's call it, there equally needs something to balance this out. If we don't balance it out and we continue to consume such a finite perspective of this thing, we will find ourselves in a very damaging situation. Hence the story is going to circle again. But what we have to pay attention to is the fact that we can correct it. However, what we're going to need to correct this thing will be a also ignored restorative aspect that has been hidden in the history of man. This restorative aspect is self-care, the ability to understand how one emotions, mind, and body connect. In this way, solving a deeper expression of feeling heard, understood, and accomplished. But as opposed to it being an external engagement, so as opposed to it being something that we just consume, we have something that is an internal resource that can always be used and can always be with us wherever we go. And in this way, truly solidifying the kind of expression that social media has served thus far. So we want to keep this very much in mind, because if we do not, we will again see the burden of what it costs to ignore our emotional sides and our creative sides. In fact, the kind of ultimate outcome is a monotony of oneself that creates so much pressure in the sense of unfulfillment that it ceases to cause any motivation at all to get anything done. And once we realize that, all our hard work does not equate to an emotional fulfillment, which is a thing we're seeking anyway, there will be a large problem. So let's solve it before it gets to that point and put in something somewhat of a safeguard so that we're able to kind of stand on our own 2 feet, as opposing to needing the expressions of others to make us feel fulfilled, because this is a very finite resource, and we want to make something sustainable and long-term. So this is the insight that I've gained from really looking into the power of self-care and the quality of healthcare that we have now. And again, this is no way saying that the healthcare that we do have is bad or not good. It is exactly as it should be, and because of that, we're able to take a further step towards a more fulfilling style of of health, where we get people to reach towards their potential as opposing to feeling the kind of external, internal burden of not doing so and falling short of the things that we're capable of. So hopefully that is clarifying for some people and can get you on the path of kind of where health really lies, and hopefully causes some kind of change so that we can move forward with what we're able to accomplish as a society. And one last note is that how could we possibly create a social change that is great if we're not able to manifest a personal change that is equally powerful?